Hello, guys. Welcome to this episode of a kind of podcast that we are creating. That's the first episode here. The thing is that here you're gonna see some English. You're gonna enjoy our conversation. We're gonna talk about anything, any kind of subject. We are free to talk about whatever we want here, right? So I'm gonna present my friends here. Here is Rafael. Talk about yourself a little bit.
Hi, my name is Rafael. I'm from Bahia. I'm Brazilian and I'm 19 years old. And I don't really know what to talk about myself.
All right. So talk a little bit about you, like Sebastian.
Hi, I'm Sebastian from Hungary. I'm 30 years old. I turned yesterday 30 years, celebrated in the hostel.
It was amazing.
I started to travel last year and Brazil is my destination for my travel. And
are you liking your traveling so far?
yeah, I like it. And I must say Brazil is a wonderful country. And
What was the best part in Brazil for you?
it was Iguazu, Foz de Iguazu, the waterfall, and also the community what we had in the hostel there. So I really liked it, really enjoyed it. We have a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Sounds awesome.
But tomorrow I go to Manaus. We will see.
Yeah. Are you anxious to go there?
Yeah.
It's going to be different, and the weather there is a little bit crazy because it's hot, you know.
Yeah, it's really hot and it's really rainy, so it's gonna be really like wet.
Yeah, it's in the jungle.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Yesterday, the guy, my roommate, told me that in Manaus you can see anacondas, and if you make a tour, then the people are hitting the anacondas.
Oh God.
And then running away or go with the boat away.
Yeah.
And then you see the anaconda following you.
Yeah.
That's kind of nice if you think about it.
That's an interesting thing because we are talking about before that Brazil is a big country.
Yeah.
So sometimes we don't know our own country, you know.
Yeah, sure.
I started my trip this year, and I come from Fortaleza, Ceará, that is up there, and from here it's like 4,150 kilometers. So it's really, really, really far from my city. So I passed like 14 cities more or less. I didn't count that much, but I thought that was like 14 cities, and all the cities are different. People are different. The community is different. The way people behave are different, state from state, and the accent also. You know, like Portuguese accent in everywhere is different.
It's really different. Like in Bahia, they talk like it's like they're singing. Here in Curitiba, they talk like a little more like
ups and downs.
Yeah. It's like some words they're gonna be like more what? It's like more intonation, and more words like gonna be less intonation. Like in Bahia, we're just like singing the words, and it's like that.
But if you hear a random guy speaking, can you tell? Oh, he must be from the north. He must be from the south.
Oh, sure, you can. Like maybe you can say like here in south. Maybe you can like say if he's from Rio Grande do Sul or Santa Catarina or Curitiba, because it's a little similar, the accents.
A little bit, yeah.
But if you talk like to a carioca, it's gonna be like really, you're gonna see like, oh, he's carioca.
Carioca de Rio.
Yeah,
people.
it's Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah. They have a tricky accent actually.
Yeah.
But it's not everybody who can manage that, to listen and to understand what it is, because I think that most part of people, I don't know if you guys agree with me or you agree with me because we are Brazilians, but I think that most part of people, they listen the language and they don't think about this kind of accent. They just understand and talk, and they don't even think about what is the kind of accent you're using.
It's all about communication.
Yeah. But maybe maybe some words that we use in some parts is different, you know, like the slang language is different anywhere, you know, and we have a particular way to talk in Fortaleza too, and maybe by
the street language is like really different from a state for another state.
Yeah.
But can it happen that two Brazilian native speaking people don't understand each other?
Oh, no. They probably will understand each other. Probably some words they're not gonna know what it means, but from the context, it might. But from the context, you might know what it means. You know.
it's impossible not to, unless he's talking in all the street language and he don't want me to understand what he say. But even though we come from the same region, that is Nordeste, it's the same region. So most part of the things that I say, he says too, and he understands. And it's a little bit different, a little bit off, but you can get it,
Yeah, after all, it's like there's all kinds of accents in Brazil, but I think everybody can understand each other.
That's the thing. Yeah. It's way different. If you look at it, it's like way different. Like the sounds, the words we use, but you don't need that much. Like maybe one day or two talking with the person and you can get the accent, and you already integrated that and using the accent by yourself, Because that's the interesting thing, because Portuguese is a difficult language, a tough language. And we talked about your language, because you say that your language is a particular language. It's not similar to Russian, it's not similar to German, and something like that. So what do you say, like in your country, everybody understands everybody, or has some kinds of dialects that make the difference between the languages?
No, because the country is not even bigger than, I think, Sao Paulo, or the region from Sao Paulo.
Yeah.
So it's not that much different on dialects.
Yeah.
So you cannot even say, oh, this from the western of the country. So we have a lot of Hungarian who lives on the other side of the border.
Mm-hmm.
During the World War, Hungary was cut off, and a lot of pieces belongs now to other countries like Austria, Ukraine, Serbia, and there are minorities who speaks Hungarian there.
Okay.
They speak a bit different with a bit more accent, but we can understand them, so it's no problem.
I didn't know about it. It's amazing. This story about these countries when they are.
I didn't know about it.
Yeah, I can show you a picture. The 60% from Hungary would take from Hungary.
Hungary were part of Czechoslovakia or not?
No, Hungary were never. But Hungary had a coast, and now Croatia has the coast.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's not cool.
Yeah, it's World War and politics.
Yeah. So, okay, so you say that is a particular language. So there is no language similar to Hungary.
Yes.
No language.
No language.
No language at all.
No language at all.
So if I learn, I don't know, Russian, it would help to get Hungary or not?
No.
It's gonna be
maybe for you, it would help by the pronunciation.
Yeah.
But not at all. Completely different.
Okay.
Grammatic. Totally
your
different
language
words.
is descended from what language? Like all languages are based in another language, right? Like
We call it
Portuguese is from Latin.
Finn-Ugarish. So theoretically, it must be had similarity with the Finnish, but it's not.
Okay.
So Finnish is completely different.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like a particular language, a very particular language. And that's interesting. So I don't know if you know the number, but here in Brazil, just 1% of the population speaks English. That's crazy.
Oh.
Just 1%. 5% has some level in English. So maybe they are coming from basic to intermediate, but 5%. And just 1% is really fluent in the language and can relate in the language and can talk in the language. You know how many percent in the population there speaks English? You have this number, or what do you think?
No, I don't have this number, but I hope at least that my generation speaks.
Yeah,
English.
Is your generation say like?
Yeah, the kids from the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So 1991 should.
You guys are incentivized to learn English from the beginning. What do you think?
So in the preschool, I think some preschool forced to learn from the first grade, but in my age, we started learning different languages at the fourth grade.
Which ones?
We could choose between German and English, and then if you go to the high school, you have to choose a second language. So that could be any language what the high school can offer: Spanish, Portuguese.
Mm-hmm.
Our high school had a Japanese teacher from Japan,
Okay.
so you could choose Japanese.
So like the majority of Hungarians speaks 3 languages?
No. They get teach in the school, but 3 hours in the week is not enough to get
Oh,
the
yeah,
language.
sure.
So you must sit in the class, you take the homeworks, but
Not everyone.
it's not a big
Yeah.
deal to have the classes. But especially in Hungary, is forced to learn languages, I think, because there are a lot of people who moving outside from Hungary to work.
Mm-hmm.
So we made also a joke that London is the second biggest Hungarian city
Okay.
because so many Hungarians went to the UK to work.
Okay.
So it's important to.
To learn some English.
So, yeah.
all
sure.
your friends is like, I mean, like, if you, all your friends speaks English? Like in your age?
Most of them, yes. But I talked to some friends that, I talked with a guy, blah, blah, blah. And then they ask, what you talking about? And then say, about this stuff, about the war, about the tourism, about the case here in Brazil. And did you talk in English? I said, yes. And then he asked me, is your English so good? You can talk about this stuff? And I said, why is your English not that good? You can talk about this stuff. So I hope that all my friends speaks English, at least the level at me.
Because that's strange to us, right? We are talking about that before, because we don't have a lot of friends who speaks English. It's just a few people.
Yeah,
who
basically
can really...
none of my friends speaks English very well. Like, I don't think I speak English very well.
You do.
Oh, thanks.
Your English is amazing.
But like my friends in Bahia, they just don't know anything. Like, they are like zero English.
Zero English. You can see that all parts of Brazil, that's crazy, because we have a lot of schools, we have a lot of people trying to get courses and all. But we can enter in this subject because I think that schools in Brazil, they don't really teach you the language. They don't teach you how to learn the language. They just teach you some grammar shit, or they teach you some rules or some pre-made phrases.
Yeah, they focus a lot on making you know some phrases that you're just gonna vomit it, but it's not like you're gonna be used to build your own sentence, like knowing what you have to do to unite one word to another word and make one sentence,
Yeah, but that's the case also in Hungary. So I think the people who speaks very well English in Hungary is not because they learn it so well in the school. I think it's because they play a lot of video games, they watched a lot of series on English, they had a chance to go in another country for a year, scholarship, or just about some programs which help you to change the school, change the country.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 year in the US, maybe 1 year in the UK, and this is what really helps to learn English, and not this 4 hours in a week in the school.
And I think that the most interesting thing about this topic is because we are surrounded by technology. So that's the best time to learn any language you want.
Yeah, because it's really easy to have access to other languages. You can watch some random guy on YouTube speaking French or speaking Italian, and if you really, really want to learn the language, you can pretty much watch and take notes and get used to the sounds. And the language, it's all about understanding each other. It's not like you need to know the rules of the language. You just need to say, and the other person needs to understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and today you can buy so many professional YouTube courses or online courses to prove your English. So it's not an excuse that I didn't have the chance to.
Yeah, it's like the information is like right at your face. You just have to get on it.
Yeah. And what you guys think, what's the point, what's the level when you can say, okay, I can speak a language?
What is the level? Well,
I own this language.
I could I could give my opinion about it as a teacher because I teach English and I teach Spanish too. Not right now. I did that on the past in the school, but I don't teach Spanish as well right now. But I can tell that if you have I don't like this intermediate idea, but if you can understand some things and can talk some things, I think you have the language so far, and you just have to improve a little bit more every day in order to talk about hard subjects as we are doing right now, or politics or something like that. I think that intermediate level is a good level, but I think that you should start to speak since the beginning. Trying to get used with the language, the way that they talk, the sounds, the pronunciation, and getting used with that will make you to feel more comfortable with the language passing time, so you can expose yourself more to the language and improve. What do you think?
Well, I think I already said it, but I think it's all about communication. If you can be understood and you can understand what the people are saying, it's good. It's great. You don't have to be way better than that, because it's all about practice, and it takes time to know all the words and all the vocabulary, because there's a lot of words in any language. So you can't know all the words, but with time you can learn. So you'll need to practice. You gotta go to the States or the UK or any English native country.
If you want to, you can learn things in internet, just in internet.
Sure.
I never been in another country right now, so I never been in England, the United States, and even though I learned the language, I could learn just by myself in internet and looking for things and getting classes, tutors or something like that. There is a lot of options that you can choose in order to improve your language to a good level, in a good point. So, but I know too that a lot of people don't know about it. They think that they have to go to school. They think that they have to learn these pre-made phrases or grammar things. And I think that's the basic. Maybe it's a good thing to learn that at the beginning, so you must use it how the language works for itself. I think that every language is different. For example, I speak English, Spanish, Italian, and a little bit of French. But if I would learn Hungarian, perhaps I don't know how to start, because it's a completely different system, or Russian, or German, or, I respect all the language by saying, okay, if I have to learn this language, I will start from the beginning, but I don't know what the beginning is. It's always a completely different experience. And I think that because of that, I always choose in another language to learn. Because it's amazing, this process of thinking in another language, creating systems in your head to understand other culture, other ways to talk. It's just amazing. You feel like, man, I'm learning from this guy, and this guy's not from here, and that's amazing because he has a lot of stuff that I can take for myself, but that's not mine. I ain't created that. My parents didn't talk about that. And one of the most interesting things that happened here is when I was, excuse me, I'm going to take a water. I was talking with a French girl, and we are talking about family, and I was saying about some problems, some issues that I had with my family, and she was saying the same. Okay, it's like my mother, she said, you are talking about your mother, it's like my mother. And I say, man, that's so crazy, because we are from different parts of the world and the problems is just the same, And in that day that we are talking about the issues about friends, families, and people that have closed mind, they don't travel, they don't go anywhere, they don't think they can do things, they just work until die, and they don't reflect about doing something different, or they think that we are wasting our time traveling or wasting our money or something like that. They don't valorize experiences as well. So the problem is the same. Perhaps I could speak with a Brazilian about it and we would agree with each other. It's the same. So thinking outside the box, doing something different, traveling, meeting different people, talking about different subjects, is always counterintuitive. It's not getting a job, getting a salary every month, family, something like that. It's always counterintuitive. It doesn't matter where you are. And the interesting point about that conversation that we had that day is that you get a salary and you spend all your salary just to survive, right? It doesn't matter where you live. You could live in London, but you take a salary and you use all your salary
but
just to
I
live.
think that's the point. You don't have to live for work. You have to live to have money. It's different. It seems like the same, but it's different. Like you need to have to be making money while you're not working. Like the part in your day where you're making money doesn't need to be only when you're working.
I understand, like passive income or something like that.
Yes, something like that.
But that day we discussed a different viewpoint about it because you talk about a guy that you saw on the streets. He was with a big flute and talk about that story.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
So I met guys from Argentina in Rio. They're a couple, a girl and a boy, and they traveling without money. Literally, they have no money in the pocket, and all they do is volunteering, and they get accommodation for free and maybe some food or something. But the guy goes to the squares, to the touristic places, and he has this big flute. I don't know. I'll show you.
What it is.
It's this really deep sound.
Yeah.
Maybe you know.
Oh,
Yes, I don't know.
It's like a bass
kinda
flute or
like-
something
Yeah, it's
like that,
really-
but it's
it's
way,
really
way big, yeah.
And then she get maybe, I don't know, 100, 150, 300 reals for a day.
Oh, that's nice.
and that's what they have.
Yeah.
So, and that's what we was talking about. This makes the things more easier.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
if you have not that many options from the beginning on, and that's what you always talk about,
Yeah.
that the kids now are not as happier than in the past.
Yeah.
So if you travel like this without money, it's a way different experience.
Yeah, I don't think I would have the courage to do this
Me neither.
because I don't know, being in city where I don't know anyone and don't have any money is like, I don't know, I think I would freak out.
That's the thing. That what you say. It's really interesting. And just to give the context about what you say about the kids, is because I told him a story that kids in the past, they don't have an option. So if your parents give you chicken, you're gonna eat chicken.
Yeah.
If they give you meat, you're gonna eat meat, and you didn't care about it. You know, it's just food. You just eat it.
As long as you're eating, it's great.
It's great, yeah. So now your parents ask you, do you want fish or chicken? Do you want, meat, or do you want ice cream? So you have a lot of options. But if we take deep that, because there is research about that, talking that kids were happier on the past because of it, because they have no option, and now they have a lot of options. So every time they choose something, they lose 900 things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
so they
makes sense.
feel like losing, not getting anything, and they feel like sad because of it, because I choose black but I wanted to choose red instead, and now I can't choose red. But maybe in the next week I can choose red. But if I choose red, I will lose blue.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, this analogy. And I think that any of us would have this courage, but there is a fact that is really interesting about it, that is full of shit. Like expression, you are full of shit. It's like you have a lot of things in your head, so you created an idea about the world, and that's not bad or good for itself, but it's like you created your mindset, like you think like in a way that you're, okay, I have to get some money, I have to save some money, I go there, so you predict things, and maybe this couple does that different, so they are open to new experiences. Every day is new. Maybe I'm gonna die tomorrow, who cares? But I'm trying to do my things. I try to start my day like clean, with the clean mind, But this analogy about full of shit I saw in Joyce Rogan podcast. I don't know if you know
Joe Rogan. It's like the father of the podcast. He's American.
Yeah.
He's from UFC. He's like really important guy in the UFC world, and he has a podcast where he talks to like a lot of kinds of people, like Snoop Dogg and
important people. Yeah, and he was talking with Iron Man, the guy from Iron Man. I forgot his name. Robert Downey Jr. and Robert Downey Jr. And they are talking about this, and he said that it's so easy to talk with Robert Downey Jr. because he's not full of shit. He's just a guy open mind, okay? I'm sitting here, I'm one of the biggest actors in the world, but I don't care. We're gonna talk about anything. I'm nobody, you know? And he said, when I'm sit here, I'm nobody. I'm here to learn, to talk, to get experiences, to grow, to improve, because I am nobody, you know? And he said that this mindset is the mindset of not being full of shit, you know? Not thinking you know when you know everything. You know, because when you, even for us, because we all are traveling right now, we are in different places, so we are out of our comfort zone in a way. So if we assume that we already know everything, why should we start this in the first place?
Yeah, there's
You know?
no point in traveling if you know all things. Like,
Yeah.
it's better to stay home if you know everything. Like,
Yeah,
there's
Yeah,
no point.
that's true.
Yeah, and I remember that I was listening actually a podcast from a guy that's become nomad. It's a really amazing podcast, and he said that he took his cell phone and his notebook and everything he has, and took all the memories, all the pictures, all the things that he recorded, you know, and he said, okay, if 90% of this burned down, what is the things that I would miss, you know? What is the most important things that I will take with myself? And he tried to take in the trash 90% and just take 10%. And after he did that experience, he just take pictures with people. Not the environment, not places, not animals in general, or something like that. Not prints, but people.
Yeah.
He just stayed with pictures that, oh, this guy, man, this conversation with this guy, I took a beer with